Most assassins use a shadow, a silencer, or a crowded street. But on October 19, 1986, the killer of Nigeria's most fearless journalist didn't even have to be in the room. They used a weapon never before seen on African soil, a sophisticated, military-grade parcel bomb. It was a message delivered to a breakfast table, signed with the highest seal of the state, and 40 years later, the forensic trail leads to a door that is still locked. Dele Giwa was the co-founder of Newswatch. In the mid-80s, he wasn't just a reporter. He was a heat-seeking missile aimed at corruption. Under the military junta of General Ibrahim Babangida, the unsolved evidence wasn't buried in the ocean. It was buried in government basements. Giwa was digging. He was investigating the Gloria Okon drug smuggling case, a trail that allegedly led straight to the top of the military hierarchy. 2 days before his death, he was summoned by the State Security Service, SSS. They accused him of gun running and plotting a socialist revolution. Giwa laughed it off. He told his friends, "They are just trying to scare me." He didn't realize they weren't trying to scare him anymore. They were measuring him for a casket. Let's look at the science of the crime. A parcel bomb is a signature weapon. It requires a level of technical expertise that 99% of the population simply doesn't have. Forensic experts who examined the scorched remains of Giwa's study identified 3 key components that changed this from a murder to a state execution. Analysis found traces of RDX, Research Department explosive. This isn't gunpowder or gasoline. It's a stable, high-velocity plastic explosive used almost exclusively by national militaries. The bomb used a tension-release switch. When Giwa pulled the tab of the envelope, it completed an electrical circuit. This required a micro switch and a customized power source small enough to fit in an envelope without a suspicious bulge. The parcel was encased in a professional, padded mailer that bore the official crest of the commander-in-chief. In 1986, there were only 2 places in Nigeria where these components coexisted: the Directorate of Military Intelligence and the SSS. The bomb wasn't just a weapon, it was a business card. 11:40 a.m. Dele Giwa is at his home in Ikeja, Lagos. He's having breakfast with his London bureau chief, Kayode Soyinka. 11:43 a.m. A man on a motorcycle stops at the gate. He hands a package to Giwa's son, Billy. The courier is calm. He doesn't look like a killer. He looks like a government clerk. 11:45 a.m. Billy brings the parcel to his father. Giwa looks at the CNC label. He smiles. He thinks he's finally won, that the government is sending him the top secret files he's been demanding. Giwa places the parcel on his lap. He pulls the tab. The blast was so powerful it tore Giwa's lower body apart. It shattered the heavy mahogany table. It blew the windows out of the house. Soyinka, sitting opposite him, was deafened and thrown to the floor, but the table took the brunt of the shock wave, miraculously sparing his life. Giwa's last words as he was rushed to the hospital were, "They've got me." He died shortly after. This is where the unsolved evidence becomes a ghost story. Immediately after the blast, the crime scene was not preserved. It was scrubbed. Gani Fahinmi, the legendary human rights lawyer, tried to prosecute the case. He pointed the finger at 2 high-ranking security officers, Colonel Halalu Akilu and Lieutenant Colonel A.K. Togan. But the legal system didn't just stall, it pushed back. Investigative files from the Lagos Police Command? Missing. The SSS logs of who checked out military explosives that week? Redacted. The courier on the motorcycle? Never identified. In 2026, new whistleblowers from the era have suggested that a deep state unit within the military was responsible for assembling the device. They claimed the missing files weren't lost. They were burned in a furnace at the DMI headquarters 48 hours after the assassination. Dele Giwa once said, "No evil deed can go unpunished. Any evil deed purposed by man will be redressed, if not by man, then by God. For the victory of evil over good can only be temporary." 40 years later, the temporary victory of his killers is still standing. The technology used to kill him was state-of-the-art for 1986. But our forensic tools in 2026 are catching up. We can now simulate blast patterns and track chemical signatures that were invisible back then. The parcel had a return address. We know the office it came from. We know the men who ran that office. The only piece of evidence missing is the courage to name them in a court of law. Was Dele Giwa killed because of the Gloria Okon files? Or was it something even bigger? In our next episode, we're heading to Ibadan to uncover the Saka Forest of Horror, a place where the evidence isn't in a parcel but buried in the earth. Hit subscribe. The truth is always buried deeper than you